What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another r/am I the arsehole video. Checking out a few posts that caught my attention, sharing my thoughts on them, and passing judgment on who the real arseholes are in each of them. This is episode 9 in the Am I the Arsehole series. And I've got some primo posts lined up. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first post I'm going to look at is by user Kaiser Killer, and it is titled, Am I the Arsehole for refusing to tattoo an extremely overweight woman? Sounds juicy, doesn't it? Let's give it a read.
See, I am a tattoo artist, and today a very large woman came in to get a geometric/jewelry-ish tattoo on her stomach/under boob area. We had discussed this tattoo over messages, but she had not mentioned her weight. Now, weight normally isn't a huge concern, but this woman was huge. Her entire torso was just a series of folds, especially around her ribs, and the middle of her stomach where the tattoo would be placed. Not only that, but under her various folds there had definitely not been cleaned in a while. The smell was something else. I had already drawn up the tattoo, but upon looking at her torso, I decided it simply wouldn't be possible. The tattoo would either have to go into her dirty, smelly folds, or skip over those areas, which means if she lost weight, that there would be huge gaps in the tattoo. See, I simply told her that I could not do the tattoo. She asked why, and I tried to explain to her as kindly as possible, that because of her folds on her stomach, that I would not be able to do a nice tattoo in that style. But that we could go for a different placement, or do something more organic for that area. This is where she completely snapped at me, screaming into my face that I was fatphobic, and just didn't want to do it because I found her gross, and that a anorexic skinny hoe, like me, just didn't get her. I care a lot about making my clients feel comfy, but obviously I don't want to do sheet tattoos. I obviously triggered something in her, and I feel really bad about it. I asked some of the more experienced artists what they do, and they agreed I made the right call. Now, this is where I think I might be the asshole. Her whole tantrum made me really not want to work with her. So when she finally said that she'd do another design on her stomach, I refused. I told her that her behavior made me very uncomfortable, and in my temperamental state, that she should by the way go wash her folds before coming into a tattoo studio where cleanliness is top priority. So, am I the asshole? Edit. I want to make it clear that this woman wasn't just regular sweaty or something. It was rancid. I wouldn't doubt that you could find an infection within the folds. And her comment on my body hit me really hard, since I am a recovering anorexic.
Oh my god, this one really is just too perfect, isn't it? It's almost to the point that I'm questioning whether it can possibly be a true story. Ticking as many boxes as it does. But in fairness, it's not any crazier than some of the fat activist antics I've covered in my Fat Logic series. So it could well be true. Either way, it was too funny not to share. So here are my thoughts. First, just to get this out of the way, obviously I don't think that OP is the arsehole, by any stretch of the imagination. If she didn't think that she was going to be able to tattoo the customer safely, hygienically, and to her satisfaction, it was only responsible for her to refrain. For her own sake, for the sake of the business, and, most importantly, for the sake of the customer herself. I mean, if the customer had gotten the tattoo, and it had looked terrible because of all her excess fat, or, worse yet, she had gotten an infection, due to the hygiene difficulties that this excess fat apparently engenders, I'm sure this would have caused her a great deal of discomfort, embarrassment, and inconvenience, that could otherwise have been avoided. And based on the customer's overall conduct in the story, as it has been relayed to us, at least, I have little faith that she would have just been a good sport about it, and accepted these consequences as hers to bear. It seems likely that she would have complained, trashed OP online, and maybe even sued, all of which could have had severe consequences for OP's career. So in light of this, it's not surprising that OP wanted absolutely none of it, and elected to steer clear of the whole situation. Nobody wants to invite unnecessary trouble into their life, after all. And as for the later refusal to tattoo her stomach, yeah, I don't think that OP is out of line for withdrawing her service. After being called a quote, anorexic skinny hoe, like, if you're going to scream at someone for refusing to cave to your unreasonable demands, you can't expect them to just meekly go along with whatever you plan next. OP has a right to decent working conditions. And as far as I'm concerned, that includes not being berated and body shamed by someone with terrible hygiene. Frankly, even the snipe on the way out about the woman needing to clean her rolls doesn't seem unwarranted to me. Because if you're going to treat others like crap, you can't expect yourself to be treated any better. That's not how the world works. My last comment on this one is just that, provided this story is true, it really exemplifies the whole fat activist mindset perfectly. Doesn't it? Like, instead of accepting that her dietary choices prevented her from getting the tattoo that she wanted, the customer blamed the tattoo artist. Instead of accepting that being that fat simply limited what the tattoo artist could do, she angrily body shamed her for being thin, using anorexic as an insult. Because body shaming is only an issue when it happens to fat people. Right, and instead of actually reflecting on her obesity and poor hygiene, she lashed out at OP for making note of it. Because as always, the fat activist's ego comes first, and everything else is a distant second. So yeah, as I say, this post really did check just about all the fat acceptance boxes. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading it, though I do feel a little sorry for OP for having to go through all that. At any rate, I've rambled on for long enough. Let's move on. The next post is by user Doggo Magnus, and it is titled, "Am I the Asshole for removing the lock on our bathroom door?"
I, 29 female, am married to David 30 male, and have been for 3 years. We have one beautiful daughter, 2 female, and have another one on the way. The other week, my husband approached me, asking if I could not go to the toilet as much in the night, as it was keeping him up, and he had work early in the mornings. So that night I held it in so he could sleep. But one night I couldn't hold it in any longer. So I got up and went. Next morning, husband asked why I went to the toilet in the middle of the night, and I blatantly told him that I couldn't hold it in. He dropped the subject and headed off to work, thinking I could now go to the toilet in the night again. I tiptoed out of our room, went to the toilet, and came back. Husband seemed not to have woken. So I went back to sleep. This all seemed to be fine for about a week. Then one day I'm out, 'cause I have plans with friends that day, and I'm out till quite late. When I arrive back home, I crawl into bed and fall asleep. Again I wake up and go to the bathroom, but when I try to open it, I find it's locked, and a new lock has been put on the outside with a keyhole. I immediately confront husband, asking why there is a lock on the bathroom. Husband wakes up visibly angry, saying, "To stop you from using it in the night and waking me up." He continues to say how he has a big meeting the next day, and to leave him alone. I leave, and go and sleep on the couch for the rest of the night. In the morning, husband's gone, and I find the bathroom is now open, with a newly written timetable on the fridge, titled, "Bathroom Timetable." It then goes on to say, open between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., closed between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. I was stunned that my husband would limit what time I could go to the bathroom. I decided to call my brother, and ask him to remove lock. He immediately came over, and it was done and dusted within 20 minutes. When husband got home, he was extremely angry, saying how I shouldn't have removed the lock, and how you just made a big mistake. He then stormed out, and I haven't seen him for 2 days. Did I overstep by removing the lock? Am I the asshole? Edit. I've just been reading some of your comments. Thanks so much for the immediate support. To answer a question I'm seeing, our first baby was quite quiet, and didn't cry as much as other babies, which we are both grateful for. So my husband didn't have to deal with the crying in the night that much. He has always been a light sleeper, but this behavior is completely abnormal.
Jesus Christ, that's horrifying. Seriously, what is wrong with this guy? You can't just deny someone the right to go to the bathroom, especially not your pregnant wife. For frick's sake, it's flat out abusive. I don't care how much you need your beauty sleep, or how light a sleeper you might be. You don't get to prioritize your desire not to be disturbed over your wife's basic human rights. And I don't know what could ever give someone the idea that this was remotely justifiable. It's genuinely nuts. Reading through the post, I can't help but feel that there's something more going on with the husband that OP doesn't know about. Because the whole thing just doesn't make any kind of sense to me. Even if we accept that the husband is a giant asshole, like, surely it would make more sense, if he was this bothered, for him to just sleep somewhere else. Or if he's got his heart set on being a douche, getting her to sleep somewhere else. Because I don't know about anyone else, but I'd rather sleep on the couch, and have bathroom access, than be in a giant bed, squirming through the night in agony, from being unable to relieve myself. And if it's the sound of the bathroom door, or the toilet flushing, that's bothering him, and not her getting out of bed, he could surely just get some earplugs or something. It seems to me that whatever his problem is, there'd have to be at least 100 better solutions than putting a lock on the door. And the fact that he went to such an extreme suggests to me that he's either going through some kind of mental health crisis, or he's deliberately abusing OP for some unknown reason. Either way, it's an extremely concerning situation, and I would advise OP to separate herself from him for the foreseeable future. If at all possible, because she deserves better than this crap. And because her being in such a stressful environment can't be good for the baby. So yeah, OP's husband is definitely the asshole, though I feel that there is more afoot than simple assholery on his part. And I feel tremendously sorry for OP, for being so mistreated by someone who should be doing his best to take care of her. Moving on. The last post I'm going to check out is by user Vegetable Recover 51, and it is titled, "Am I the asshole for blowing up on my boyfriend for what was supposed to be a harmless prank on my birthday?" Let's dive right in.
So I, 26 female, and my boyfriend, 26 male, have been dating for around 6 months. A week and a half days ago was my birthday, where I turned 26. Just 2 days ago, though, was my birthday celebration, and in my family, we always like to do large celebrations for everybody's golden birthday. If you don't know what a golden birthday is, it's the birthday that you turn the same age as the date of the day. For example, my birthday is June 26th, and I was turning 26. Anyways, we decided to have my birthday dinner at my mother's house. As I wanted some of that nostalgia, we got a very nice and decorated cake from an expensive local cake shop. The whole party had my closest friends, whole family, and a few of my boyfriend's family there as well. The whole day was going well, until it came time for me to blow out the candles of the cake. Right after I blow out the cake, my head is pushed into it, and it destroys the whole thing. I was so mad that the nice cake was ruined, as well as my makeup, on what was my birthday. I left the party as fast as I could. My boyfriend has called and texted me so much, asking for my forgiveness, but I honestly don't want to forgive him. I may be being dramatic, but I just don't get why he had to do that. The cake was a 3-story cake, and I have heard the horror stories that can come from some of them. Luckily the dangers weren't there for me, but it's not like my boyfriend do that. My whole family is on my side, but his mother and brother told me I am being a dramatic a-hole, and it was supposed to be a harmless joke, and I was doing too much. Edit. Also, I would like to say that when this cake was being made, my family specifically expressed they wanted nothing bad to happen to it. Not specifically on the cake to face shoving, but saying stuff like nobody drop that, etc. So, am I the asshole?
Honestly, with a post like this, do you really have to ask? Obviously OP's boyfriend is the asshole. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And the fact that his mother and brother are going into bat for him is simply astounding to me. Like, talk about hitching your wagon to a losing cause, haha. With this kind of blind support from his family, it's no wonder the boyfriend developed an attitude problem. I wouldn't say that smooshing someone's face into cake is never funny. It can definitely be chuckle-worthy. In cartoons or comedies, or maybe in a mutually consensual food fight. But the idea of doing it without warning, or permission, on someone's birthday, and with an expensive cake to boot, is completely incomprehensible to me. You'd have to have the social awareness of a chicken nugget to even consider such a move. It's baffling. The only possible defense I can think of is that the guy just has really poor impulse control. He didn't think at all. And he simply acted on some uncontrollable juvenile impulse. But this defense really only goes so far. People need to be held accountable for their actions. And if you're a grown-ass man, you can't rely on such lame excuses for your ridiculous behavior, and expect to be taken at all seriously by those whom this behavior upsets. From the sound of the post, the boyfriend has at least tried to apologize. So that's a start, I suppose. Whether or not OP will eventually forgive him is up to her. And I wouldn't say that she's wrong if she refuses to move on from it. Because let's be real, who wants to go out with a 26-year-old? With the maturity of a 26-month-old, haha. So this could end up being a deal breaker. But yeah, at any rate, OP's boyfriend is the asshole. And so are his mother and brother for picking the wrong side. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed reading these posts with me, and that you got something out of my commentary. What do you think? Is refusing to tattoo someone's enormous body rolls fatphobic? Is it acceptable to decide when your spouse can and can't go to the bathroom, and enforce this by putting a lock on the door? Is it funny to shove someone's face into a cake on their birthday? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll give you an ugly tattoo, smash a cake into your face, and lock you in the bathroom to cry about it. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.